Hello, this is Mike Lanier from CarShowNationals.com Let's Roll podcast. I'm here with my buddy Jeff Thisted,
Hey guys.
Hot Rod Power Tour spokesperson, good guys, and everything else. History Channel, I think you were on there once.
Sure.
And we're here with David Ankin, and I hope I said that right
guys?
because I always mess it up, but I think we're good. He was with a show called Toymakerz, and I believe they're still doing that on the History Channel.
Right, that's right.
Are they doing that in like a phone app type thing, or is that part of Motor Trend, or what is that?
No, it's their drive block. Motor Trend is on Velocity, or which now is Motor Trend. But History Channel has the drive block. So we're on the History Channel. We're going into year 4. So the virus has got us a little messed up. But
Okay.
See, I'm glad you're not the only one, Dave. It's like he gets so confused. It was Speed Vision, and then it went to Velocity and all these sort of things, and now it's Motor Trend.
yeah,
Right.
now it's Motor Trend. So, well, we're over on the History Channel. A&E Network's been great to us. We're going into our 4th year, and then we got a new digital series coming out the end of the year, which I'm excited about. So it's a lot of cool things happening.
Oh,
Tell us
okay.
about that. What's up with the digital series? Is that on YouTube or is that on another application?
It's another application. We're strictly building it just to go out just for content. I mean, so it's basically a long movie that's cut up into short pieces, and it's all real stuff. It's Fast and the Furious with real stuff. So it's real cars, real horsepower. Car does a wheel stand, it's because it did a wheel stand. There's no CG, real drivers. I mean, it's a lot of fun, but the script is very much Fast and the Furious. It's a lot of fun. So
Cool.
Very
I
cool.
actually go to jail in the first episode, I think.
So it's real, but it's scripted.
Well, it's real cars, real racing, real people. We put together some of the baddest cars on the planet, and so it makes it fun. So because the Down Fast and Furious is successful, but it's all fake. Everything about it's fake. So here, if we
Right.
got a 950 cubic inch motor with 4 stages of nitrous, it's really what we say it is. Or they're out there, if they lose a race, it isn't because they shifted 15 times and blew the floor pans out when they hit the nitrous button. So it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of great vendors involved, a lot of great people, a lot of great race cars, and it's going to be a world of fun.
So what makes one of the baddest cars on the planet?
In my opinion, the baddest car on the planet is just what it is. It depends on if you're doing road racing, if you're talking about drifting, if you're talking about drag racing. Right now, we're really playing a lot on the drag racing series, and I don't know what part of the country everybody's in, but we're on the East Coast. Do a lot of 8th mile here. So like you take an RVW car, which are radial tires, little bitty. They got no wheelie bars, and they're running 350s at 200 plus miles an hour. A 350 at 200 plus miles an hour on a little tire with no wheelie bars, they're bad mamma jammas. I don't care what anybody says. So,
It's super fast.
yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of fun. I mean, they're wheeling at the finish line, not the starting line. That's how much power they're putting down.
Jeez.
So, it just depends what world you're in. So
you're focusing mainly on drag racing.
just for this new digital series, because we're creating them all for the street. We're going to do the streetcar nationals, and there's a whole big deal where I get hurt and they bring me back, and you go through a long healing process, and then we're back racing on the street again to say who's the best in the country. Basically, is what the show based around. But it makes it a lot of fun. So we're using real race cars, putting them on the street, putting them in a format so when we stage a race, so I can take care of all 60 of my brands if I want to. If you're racing a Pro Charger versus a Turbo versus a Nitrous car, you don't lose because it isn't a great brand. You lose because something technically happened that would really happen in real life. Put too much tune-up in it, blew the tires away. You wheelied the car, depends on what the scenario is. So everybody can win and everybody can lose without the ignorance of, oh, we hit a nitrous button and the back window come out. It's like the silly stuff, it's trying to make it a little more real and really bring in some guys. Because let me tell you something, that industry's full of personality.
Right.
Really full of personality.
Well, the whole car industry is full of personalities, don't you
No,
think?
that's for sure. That's, my hot rods, I put a license plate in everything we own. So, we got a, 3,000 horsepower street car. And we put a license plate in everything we own. So I
So a
promise
street
you.
legal 3,000 horsepower race car.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
You
got
Matter of
two
fact,
need-
I'm
signals
bringing
and
it out
bumpers,
this
but
weekend to
3,000.
shake this weekend in B&P, and it's a bad boy. It's truly two-seater, cup holder, cell phone charger, tag lights. I mean, it's a bad mamma jamma.
And
All
3,000
hand built.
horsepower.
Yeah, we hand built the chassis, hand built the body, hand built the window, hand built the whole car. We do one a year that we hand build every inch of the car.
Wow.
What's your daily driver?
I drive a truck. I mean, I love my big dually. So I drive a Ford Super Duty. So
There you go. What year?
17.
So is that one of the ones that's got the camera up above, or the where they can paste together all the image around the
No.
truck?
No.
Okay.
But I do like the truck, though. The thing will pull a house. We got a bunch of little
yeah.
cars. But I mean, if I go to lunch, today we took that car we're talking about to lunch. So, and then we're going to load it in a trailer tomorrow, bring it to VMP to go racing. So, it's a fun car. It was designed to drive that car. That car was designed to drive it to the racetrack and do a 450 and drive it home. And a 450 in an eighth mile is fast. You run 170 in the eighth mile, that's fast. So,
That's super fast. If you're on 170 in the quarter mile, that's still fast.
yeah, well, not for us. That car be real fast. It'd run over 200 in a quarter.
Yeah, I understand, but let's be honest. 95, 98% of the people watching, they watch and I'm pointing back because the TV's over there, the Memphis Outlaws and the Street Outlaws, all these guys. Everybody asks me, so does your car run 10s? Like, no, 10 is fast. That's a super fast car, but everybody is numb to it, like with Barrett Jackson nowadays. Well, I saw a Camaro on Barrett Jackson go for $1 million. Mine's got to be worth 100,000. It's like, no, they're not. So everybody is numb to these numbers.
Numb and a little, naive. TV really, people don't understand how fast 4 seconds is. Okay.
People don't understand how fast 10 seconds is.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, the biggest misconception is everybody shows up at my shop has let's start quarter mile. They all have 8 or 9 second cars. And I'm like, do you know how fast 8 seconds is? I mean, do you really know? The problem is, you're right. They watch a TV show, and that's where we really that's why we don't build it, put it on the show, and never see it again. We build it, put it on the show, then I bring it to the track and prove it. And we do it all the time. So all of my brands, whether it's Nitrous Outlet, Precision, Pro Charger, it doesn't matter, Mickey Thompson, I don't care what it is, we go out and prove it every weekend in one of our cars. And the difference is once they see it, like we're doing the 4 wides at ZMAX this year. And what's
awesome.
unique,
I love that place.
It's a beautiful facility. Matter of fact, Ed just left here 15 minutes ago. What's unique is I can take a Z06 Corvette, fast car. I could even take a Ferrari if I wanted to. Then I could take what they call a 650 car, drag car, big monster tires, wheelie bars. Then I could take a 390s car. And we line them all up at the exact same time and make a pass. Okay. Gives them an idea what the difference is between a 390s car or let's say a 350 car. There's, you get somebody like Stevie Fast Jackson now, they're doing 350s. That's stupid. And they're doing it with no wheelie bars, little bitty tires. These guys are animals. So, my mindset is to try to educate people a little bit. The show you got 44 minutes in an hour long show to build a cool car. That's awesome. But when you actually get out there and get to put your hands on it and understand what a turbo does or why you run this transmission or why this rear gear, my team here at the shop is second to none. I'd put them against anybody on the planet. Jason Hensley, there's nothing. I come up with an idea and say, we're going to do this. He will lose sleep to get it done. You take somebody like Ashley, everybody thinks Ashley's just my assistant. She puts stuff together and gets the trailer ready. And we get to a track, it means the world. Or Billy, or it just doesn't. My partner David, he's a 70-year-old man that's never been in a hot rod in his life till just recently. But he comes out there and has a ball, and he's truly starting to understand, a trans brake. When you do a sub 1 second 60 foot time versus a Z06 Corvette that might do a 2 second, I don't know, whatever they run, it's like, it's a whole different animal, it's like, so we're trying to
You'd be
educate
lucky to get the Z06 down there in 10.95, like the factory says. But I mean, and you must have these guys come in all the time. Do you know Mike Copeland?
The name rings a bell.
he was a GM engineer and Lingenfelter, now Diversified Creations. He tells me he's got guys coming in all the time. He needs, I need 1,000 horsepower. All right, come with me. I'm going to give you a ride. And he takes them for a ride in a 500 horsepower car, and it blows their mind. It's like, all right, let's set you up with something like this first, because otherwise you're going to kill yourself in a 1,000 horsepower machine. But 1,000 seems to be the number nowadays.
I've really had that happen to me about 4 years ago. I built a car for a guy that had to have 1,000 horsepower, and he come in, it was 898, and he was angry at the wheels. And I said, look, the pieces you wanted to use is, got what we could. We could probably throw a little nitrous at it, get it, but it was a pro charge car, very strong car, 4,000 pound car. I got him in the car, scared himself so badly that he made me detune the car. I've never heard of such a thing, but people don't, because everybody has 1,000 horsepower car in their mind, they don't understand what 1,000 horsepower is. In 1,000 horsepower, we have what we call 1,000 horsepower problems. You got driveline problems. You have to be able to stop it. You got to have great suspension. You got to be able to have things that people don't understand. You just can't throw 1,000 horsepower in it. And one of my things, you take a new Hellcat, 700 horsepower. The new, they got all these new cars, get all this horsepower. It's the technology that's making it drivable. They got great electronics, great traction control, great braking, which is awesome. But you take a custom-built car that's 2,000 pounds with none of that and put 1,000 horsepower in it, you have an animal.
Oh, yeah, and I told people back when I worked with Chevy, anybody can go fast. Stopping is where you get them. I mean, anybody can put 1,000 horsepower into a car, but the brakes, you got to stop, because if you can't stop, you're done.
Yeah, or suspension in a corner, or coming out of a corner, or coming into a corner. All that stuff is crucial, and or even getting power to the ground. You can have all the horsepower in the world, but if you don't understand how to transfer weight and get the power to the ground, what good is it? Nowadays they're doing stuff with converters and transmissions. It's silly stuff. But that's what I enjoy. It's what I love to do. Go out and people see it and just get all excited.
And how amazing is it in this day and age that you can go to the store, and if your credit card is big enough, you can come out of there with a 10-second car with air conditioning, cup holders, and a warranty. It's a pretty good day to be a car guy.
But if you're an average driver in that car, and something happens, the electronics only take you so far.
100%. And that's why I know Chevy has the Ron Fellows driving school. If you buy a Demon or a Hellcat, you've got the option to take their driving school. Yeah. So, anybody can buy a car, but not everybody can drive them.
That's exactly right.
I got a little funny story. I went to a car show maybe 2 years ago. I can't remember if it was a black Chevelle or black GTO. I can't remember which one, but it was a 454, 455 twin turbo, and the guy had just got it done. The first day he drove it, slammed her into a tree. And the people that had built the car just fixed it, finally got to the show, and he's like, yeah, this guy just drove this car right into a tree. We just got it done. I'm like, wow. And that was the first time he brought it out. So it just goes along with your story. You got to know what you're driving.
Well, just like you just said, though, people go out and buy a nice 7, 8, 900 horsepower OEM car with electronics, and they got a little bit of money. Now they want to go back and build their fantasy car that they had in high school, a 69. Well, let's put the same horsepower in it. The problem is they don't have the electronics. They don't have the braking. They don't have, and it causes a problem. The difference between driving a great OEM car with great electronics, the car does most of the work, believe it or not. And I'm not saying it doesn't take some skill, because it does. Well, you get in a car without electronics, even my blue car that I'm taking, the digger we're taking out this weekend, I got a Davis box in it, which is a profiler. It's got a VPS system in it. So once I get all the horsepower curves put in it, I can power wheelie the car going down the road, and it'll set it right back down, pull timing and fuel, I'll set it right back down. The technology that's out today is absolutely stellar. Absolutely stellar.
And you can do your wheelies and then park the car, fiddle on your computer a little bit, and then take the wheelie out of it and get, I guess, decent mileage. But
you're right. You turn the boost controller off, and all of a sudden you're doing great. It's like I That car, I drive it anywhere. We're 1,400 horse. It does everything it's supposed to do. Turn the boost control, or mine happens to be activated on the trans brake. So, if I actually pull up to a light and put it on the trans brake, everything turns on. Then all of a sudden, I got an animal. I could leave it 2,500 horse if I want to. So
now
it
that's
makes
awesome.
it a fun car to drive. So
everything comes on once you hit the trans brake.
Yeah, everything activates. So so if I'm foot braking it, I got nothing going on. That thing's ball to drive. But
That's so badass. See, my nitrous bottle is all the way in the back, so I can't reach it. So if I do want to play, I have to stop and go turn it on. So I can't just, if somebody's at the light, I can't just go fiddle with it and hit the switch.
I always turn my nitrous cars. I always turn the bottle on, and then I got an activation switch on the dash. So, you just leave it off. Because one time, you can purge it. You can do whatever you want to do if you're playing. But the street, you don't need horsepower. Anything over. Unless you're just an idiot like me and all my boys we're idiots. All my friends are idiots. But
you're talking to two idiots right now.
And there's nothing better than rolling, thumping hard. I mean, this year Ashley's on the racetrack this year in a little G35, having a ball. David Young's on the racetrack, having a ball. My son, he's 14. He built his own car. He's on the racetrack this year. Going to be a lot of cool stuff happening. It isn't just Jason and I doing all the cool stuff. So it's cool to see that the staff get involved and really understand, they're doing 9 seconds and having the time of their life, it's fun, so.
Oh yeah. If you're on the racetrack, not having the time of your life, something's wrong with you.
You're in the wrong business.
What kind of cars your 14-year-old son doesn't even have a driver's license, but he's got a drag car. What did he build?
Actually, he built a drift car. I had to teach him. I want him way under horsepower. So we did everything that I had to do learning. You don't want to give him horsepower. So we took a little 350Z. He put a cage in it. He put containment seats in it. He put seat belts in it. He got with DeBerti, which is another show. Brad DeBerti's a great guy. He is the twin turbo show on a competing network. But he saw that it wasn't me driving. It was my son. So he threw my son a bunch of they put hand brakes in it. So this Corvette thing, he's been here doing schoolwork. And then the afternoon, he's out there just ripping the car up. So he's having an absolute ball. So
now, who's his tire sponsor? He's got to have a tire sponsor. Okay.
Yeah,
good.
Mickey Towns. Yeah, they're good people. Mickey
they're
Towns
fantastic.
is good. Yeah. So, and Willwood's a big sponsor of mine. Mike over there is great. I saw the
Willwood
shirt.
Mike. Yeah.
Mike's a great guy. And so we put Willwood's on it. I mean, we really went through and taught him. I made him pull the pumpkin out of it, the third member out of it. They don't make a spool for that car. So I showed him the old school way of welding them all up. And, it's got no horsepower. And he keeps asking for an LS. I said, no, you got to learn to drive with no horsepower.
Exactly.
Anybody can drive with horsepower, but you got to learn to carry speed through a corner. You win a road race with corner speed. You win a drag race with going straight. So, it's teaching him them fundamentals. And everybody here, Jason, I don't care if it's Dwight, Billy, Ashley, they're all tight with my son. And it warms my heart to see them work with my son and grow what they're doing.
Well, I'm not even trying to plug the video game, but Gran Turismo, back in, I don't know if it was 2 or 3, when you start out, you have the underpowered car, and you go through this, you got to make a certain time. And if you can make that car go fast, then you kind of step up. And Mark Stilo, it's like he started out in a Miata. If you can drive that Miata fast and carry your speed through, then you start stepping up the suspension and the brakes, and then you get a little bit of horsepower, and then it's on.
We all know drivers that have come up through the ranks. If a guy's got money, their son starts off in some big horsepower, high-end car or bike. I grew up in the bike industry. They don't really learn to go fast. They learn to fake it, go straight, and brake real hard, then turn, okay? If you're going to learn to go fast, you got to start off in junk. You got to keep it running. Like I learned a 3-pedal, because the car wouldn't run. It was junk. You're over there trying to keep it running, and that's what you learned in. Now, it's like now they're all fuel injected cars. My son goes, how do you 3-pedal? I was like, dude, it's like I got an old junker beat up out here with a carburetor. You make it so you got to keep it running over here with a foot. You're keeping the brake on, and but that's how you learn. You got to learn slow, carry speed, and learn all the fundamentals. So if you get in trouble, you know how to fix it. The problem is with a bunch of horsepower, you get in trouble all the time. You don't know what to do to fix it. You know, you're backwards before you know it or into a wall.
Well, David knows what he's talking about because if you watch all those videos of him driving through town and all that, he's ripping up the town all the time.
We play hard. This town is amazing. The county's amazing. I mean, they've been really good to us. So, I mean, I don't know anybody can go in front of the police department and cut donuts. So I did it in my opening scene. So it's
tell the folks at home. Tell us about this digger you're talking about that you just took to lunch.
I want to know the engine
Digger's
specs.
In season 4, you know, we were halfway through filming that car when the virus hit. So we didn't finish season 4. It's actually the season finale for season 4, but it's already been out playing. I brought it to SEMA, sat in the Precision Turbo booth. Mickey Thompson's, it's a one-off body, a one-off chassis. It came from a model that I had as a kid that was absolutely amazing. Just a little model green. They called it the Tarantula with 2 blowers. I mean, it was a ridiculous model, but I always said when I got older, I was going to build one for the street. So that's what we did. We built one, a life-size one for the street. When I was at SEMA the year earlier, it takes me about a year and a half to build a one-off car where we hand build every inch of the car. And I was sitting at a 21 table, blackjack table, at the Ari, I believe. And a guy was sitting across the time zones all messed up, talking about what I was going to run for power without building anything special. And I told him I'm building a little street car. He was building some stuff. Went back and forth. And I said I was going to build a turbo car. He asked me what turbos. I'm probably going to run Precisions. He asked me why. I told him why I was going to run Precisions. So as he got up, he goes, man, by the way, never said a word about my show. He never said a word about what he did. He goes, by the way, I love everything you do. Handed me a business card. He was one of the big shots from Precision. He goes, you're going to love what we have. We got a brand new set of mirror image Precision turbos that I think would go great on that car. So a year later, I have the brand new first set of mirror image turbos they ever made on that car and in the cars. And so it isn't like a typical car. It's a 540-inch Nesbitt motor with 2 little bitty 76s. So all these big cars, they take forever to spool up and got to bump in. I could take both bulbs and I could treat it like a blower car. There's no bumping this car in. It spools up right now. It's
wow.
So.
Little
If you haven't seen it, you need to jump on and look at it. That car's bad.
Now, why turbos and not twin superchargers?
Well, twin superchargers is a look thing for me. I'm not a guy. I believe looks is important, but if you're going to run 2 blowers, why? I mean, you can get 1 screw blower and do everything, or 1 blower and do everything you want. It just so happened I was going to build the car originally with a big screw blower on it. It's hard on the street to build something that radical and make it real drivable. Where a turbo car, it's basically just an air pump, all the motors. You can actually make a fairly mild motor. I know 1,300 horsepower doesn't sound mild, but it really is a fairly mild big block. And turn the boost controller off and have a drivable car. Put turbo, turn the boost controller on and have horsepower. So really where we went to, and it's a fun car. So,
well, I think Sam was the one who told me.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Sam Moldavi.
Between a blower and turbos, he said once those turbos are spooled up, the engine's just along for the ride. And if it's built right, it's going to last forever. It's like, that's a great analogy. I love that.
Yeah.
If you think about a screw blower, I love one. I got blown cars. I love my blown car. But it's instant power right now, and the motors are real radical. So if you're going to be we drive them on the street all the time. I keep tags and insurance on everything. So if you're going to drive them on the street, it's a little harder on stuff. I still do, but, but I like my relationship with all my vendors. Amazing.
Jeff likes you now because he's always about driving your cars on the street and not letting them sit around. And
100%.
I saw Jeff smile. Yeah, when you said you had tags, insurance, and all that and everything, I said Jeff's his face light up like.
I love a racetrack. I love one.
Yeah.
But the fact you get all this money and time in a car, you got to wait, you got to pay somebody, you got to wait for a nice weekend, you got to wait in line to drive it. That irritates me. Yeah. I love a car show that I can go drive into. I love one that's got a cruise at the end of the night I love it. I'm passionate and sit around and talk. I go to car shows sometimes, don't even tell people I'm going. And we set all up and the guy comes running over. Oh my God, you're here. Dude, I just want to go enjoy the cars. I learn something every car show. Man, the talent that's out there in our industry is amazing. These little guys out there in these barns building stuff. If you're not, man, come on. I'm an old man and I learn every day.
Right.
So speaking of driving them on the street and your sponsors, driving them on the street is hard on them. Who do you use to keep the coolant temperature down, the engine?
Listen, I've been using Fluidize for years. Fluidize's in my wheelhouse down here. Ryan's been great. Gary's the owner. Just great people. It doesn't matter what it is, how creative I get. You take the blue car, for instance, we're taking out, you can't even see the radiator. I hid it in the car, but it's a monster radiator, got monster fans. All of my mid-engine car, I got 2 on each side that are all hidden in pods. You got to go to somebody that understands, it isn't water. It's air going through the water that cools the motor. So it's a bunch of things that happen. And Fluidize's been instrumental. They've actually taught me a lot. But I can go to them no matter how crazy I get, and they'll sit down with me and we'll hand build it and make it work for the car. So
I love how he says depending how crazy we get.
Well, I get this next year we're getting real crazy. So we're going to get stupid.
Well, do you know Nelson Gill? He's our torque converter whisperer.
Exactly.
So
we're always looking for torque converter technology. But nowadays, let me tell you something. I'm an old man. I say this all the time. I remember when I thought a big block was now I think a big block's basically I hate to call it it's almost like the new flathead, because the technology has grown so much in LSs and Coyotes, and it's amazing, even though I always have a passion for a big thumping big block. But converter technology is something people underrate, or transmission technology. I got a 2-speed power glide with all 400 internals, and it's a bad boy. But converter technology, where they're actually taking fluid in and out of a converter, and the stuff they're doing to lock one up top is absolutely insane in the RVW stuff right now. And so we're building a new grudge car just to mess with everybody this year. And converter technology is important. You can, like I said, you can have all the horsepower in the world. Can't get it to the ground and get it to lock up all the way through. You can have 5,000 horsepower, but if you're blowing through the converter, what good is it? So it's important.
And again, in this day and age, we're used to, it's like you said, the Turbo 400, a 3-speed automatic. Now you've got the 4L60s and 80s, 4-speed. You got 6 speeds, 8 speeds, and now a Chevy and Ford with a 10-speed automatic transmission. It's amazing.
Yeah, and that's just it. Depending the biggest problem I have talking to a customer. What do you really want to do with a car? If you're truly going to drive it for 3 seconds, we'll do this. If you truly want to drive it on the street and get mileage, we'll go this way. If you truly want 1,000 horsepower and drive it on the street, that's a different question. People don't understand it. You have 1,000 horsepower problems. You got drive shaft problems, transmission problems, converter problems, rear end problems, axle problems, stopping problems, suspension problems. People don't truly understand that. So understanding what you want is crucial, especially when you're going to build a car.
100%. It's like I was so used to 373 gears. That's what I've got in it now. And it's a good all-around gear, but I drive on the highway a lot, and I want to bring it down just a bit to increase the mileage. And I know that doesn't sound very hot roddy, but when gas is $3 and $4 a gallon, man, every dollar counts.
Listen, we've all been there. And if you're going to drive it on the street and it's your only hot rod, you do them. If you can't put an overdrive in it, or you don't have a 6-speed, or if you don't have something to get, sometimes you got to change your gear. There's an easy fix for dropping that to a low 3 and still just spray it a little bit on top of it. You'd be okay on it.
Yeah, I got a 250 shot in the car right now, but I figure the 350 gears will give me a little bit of mileage.
There you go. I love it.
Well, he's driving everywhere, so he needs.
What do you drive? What's your hot rod?
55 Chevy 210 station wagon, not a Nomad. I'm in Colorado now with my pop, and today's Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, last Tuesday it snowed here. They were expecting 10. It went from 90s for 2 months to 27 degrees overnight. And then a week ago tomorrow, I took the car from here up to Guanella Pass, almost 12,000 feet in the snow. And it was super good fun.
I love it when people come by the shop here in their hot rod. When they show up here and they drove it in. We came down from Ohio. We came down from Michigan. That's so cool to me. It's something. It means they drive their car.
And where are you? Are you in North Carolina?
Yeah. I'm real close to Mooresville. I'm right here in NASCAR Alley, if you will. I'm within an hour of NASCAR.
That's why I know
Nice.
Z-Max, because we stayed at the hotel across the street from Hendricks Motorsports.
Yeah,
And we opened at Z-Max and Lowe's Motor Speedway on the Power Tour a couple years. So it's
it's funny, the Power Tour, a couple of the guys from the Power Tour, they did this last year. They came by and said hello, and we keep saying we're going to try to do at least part of the Power Tour. Man, sometimes schedules just don't work. I'd love to take a camera crew with me and just film it. Us going down because I got some bad boys out here.
You've never been? You haven't been on the Power Tour?
I have not. Man.
Oh man.
You're a car guy. It's at least come out for one day. There's 6,000 people that are just like us that are driving them. And my story is they drive them, and then usually when I fly back to LA, it's Sunday, and there's the Beverly Hills Concourse on Father's Day. So I've got 6,000 of my friends that have been driving their cars, and they're stinky and smelly for the whole week. And then I get to Beverly Hills, and all these Bugattis and Paganinis, and they're all behind their velvet robes and come out of the trailer, and you can't get near. You can't breathe on them. It's like they're neat to look at, but I'm disillusioned because I've spent a week with my friends feeling these cars, living it. So it's you got to come out.
I got $100,000 motors. I will go out here and burn the damn thing down. I don't care. It's like we're out here to put on a show everywhere we go. We drive the wheels off them, and if you get a rock chip, look, we'll paint it in the winter. Who cares? We're rubbing more rubber off. Ashley's out there right now rubbing rubber off the car so we can get to the car event this weekend. It's like our stuff's meant to drive, and that's the difference. I'm not knocking I got guys that drive supercars. I love them guys. They're great. I can't afford it. I got to build my cars. But maybe there'll be a day where I can afford a Pagani. That'd be cool.
Even if you can afford it, in my opinion,
I would drive the wheels off.
Yes, I would drive the stink out of it. Yeah, I used to work at a place, and I met Mel Blanc. He did Bugs Bunny and Porky Pig's voice.
Yeah.
His son Noel had a beautiful collection of Ferraris, and they sat there. And it's like, he was starting to get rid of them. And Jeff, you couldn't afford to drive that car. Like, if I bought that car, there would be black stripes out of your driveway. Well, then it would depreciate in value. I don't care about the value. If I buy it, I'm buying it for me. I'll paint it purple for all you care. I mean, it's like,
I'm come by my shop. You and I are going to get along well.
I love it.
Or go on the Power Tour, David, because I know a guy. I know a guy.
Every year I say it. A lot of the guys come by here. Like I said, if it happens to be around here, they'll swing by here. I need to do that. I need to come. David Vassar from Nitrous Outlet has talked about it. Chuck 55 called me. He's on the Street Outlaw, the No Prep Kings. He's called me. Let's do the Power Tour. We need to get our schedules together. Take 6, 8, 10 of us together and go play. It would be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Christmas is one thing, but it's a week with your car family. And it's like SEMA is wonderful to see everybody, but on the Power Tour, you're all driving your stuff. Anywhere from there's a guy who's known for having his convertible Chrysler LeBaron. It's like a Chrysler LeBaron, the Power Tour. Say, hey, he's out there driving it while you're sitting there behind your keyboard talking shit about it. So he's out there doing it and driving it, and no matter what you got, run what you brung.
Dude, the name of my company is Toymakerz. I don't care what you drive. I'm not prejudiced. I'll put a Chevy in a Ford in a Dodge. I don't care. I like toys. And
So
I can appreciate anything anybody does. I really can. Right now, I'm putting a new Hellcat drivetrain in a 32 Ford Coupe. I'm just telling you, I don't care. It's about toys and the passion that it brings. Right now, people like us are dying off, and the young kids don't understand that.
So is that a real steel 32? Is it a Henry Ford
No,
32 or
it's a glass car. It wasn't
okay?
meant to start off this way. And then I got going, and like everything else I do, I'm just an idiot. And because I have a real steel 32 here, but I was going to build a simple 32, and then here we go. It's got a Hellcat drivetrain in it, and it's going to be bad.
So, okay, so to go along with what we were saying earlier, what are you doing to this 32 to make it drivable? Because you're putting 707 horsepower in something that's basically built on a ladder.
You can't. I mean, truly, to utilize the car the way it's supposed to be, I would have to do so many mods and changes. You'd have to strut the front end or do a nice Mustang 2 or some kind of front. I still want to keep the look of a nice old school 32 beautiful car. It's going to be way overpowered. The advantage I have is usually all these cars I build for myself to bring out, show everybody, and show what my brands can do with their products, what I can do with brands that I deal with. This particular car is one of my custom painters. He doesn't have a ton of ability with driving. He wants something really trick and cool to show off how great of a painter he is. So I said, look, just let me build it. Take a new school Hemi. We'll do it up. I threw a bunch of nitrous. I built the snot out of it. It probably got a 1,000 horse, give or take. It'll be a fun little toy. Put it through an automatic. We're going to build a nice 9-inch in it. It's right. We've got a nice anti-roll on the back, but it's got little skinnies up front. Got old school Firestone slicks with white walls. I mean, it's not meant to do what the car should do. But if I own the car, it'd have 10 or 12 inches of tire on the front. It'd have 18, 20 inches on the back, and it'd be an animal.
2 questions about it. What kind of wheels are going on it, and what color is the painter going to paint it to show off his painting skills?
It's going to be root beer and cream, believe it or not, with a beautiful red pincer, just gorgeous, and he can paint. It's going to be beautiful. And doing a one-off wheel that's a crossover between a modern lip and a modern look with an old school. It's going to be trying to do a toss-up between the two of an old school car and modern. So it's got, I took like, for instance, the top of the motor is an old school tunnel ram, shorty tunnel ram, but it's been all plumbed with fuel injection and nitrous lines, and it's really tricky.
A tunnel ram on a Hellcat engine?
Yeah.
That's badass.
But we took the tunnel ram and plumbed it all for fuel injection. So you're not using the tunnel ram with carburetors, you're using it with fuel injection.
That's one thing. I got an LS in my 55 I just converted, and I used the single plane Holley intake manifold, and you got the fuel rails, and so many people walk up, oh, it's carbureted? Yes. It's carbureted. If you're not looking at the fuel rail, if you're not looking, it kind of looks like it.
And that's the idiots too, because we got a little bug catcher on it. So the people are going to walk up, oh my God, it's got 2 carburetors on it, on a Hellcat or on a Gen. Yep, but it doesn't. Atomizer. I deal with Jack over at Atomizer. Does some really trick billet, injectors. So we'll run a bunch of injectors on it. And it really will look the part. Nitrous Outlet went and literally did a beautiful job plumbing it for all the electronics. And
did you see their intake manifold last year at SEMA? It was underneath. They had all the lines hidden under this. It was like spaghetti under there, but it was a work of art. And they had it face down on their display. I kept on turning it over. What are you doing that for, Jeff? Because it's cool as can be. You got to show this off, man.
Anybody that doesn't know David Vassar, he is absolutely the leading industry guy with nitrous. So he doesn't just buy parts and sells them. He lives it every day. He studies and practices. I'm an avid supporter of anything that goes fast, but he understands, will find the best way to make something a little better, flow a little better, do a little more. And his plumbing work is absolutely sick. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Yeah. Works of art. And not only is it works of art, but it functions. It does what it's supposed to as well.
Absolutely. So matter of fact, I got a trophy with a nitrous bottle with all his artwork and all the lines going around. It's so cool. I'll never get rid of it. It's one of my favorite trophies. But it's all done in his lines and fittings, and it's cool.
Wow, pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Well, it's been awesome. Anything else we want to Which is your favorite build of all your cars that you've done? Is it the last one? Is it the last one?
I haven't built
next
it,
one.
I don't think.
Yeah, the next one.
Yeah, the next one. You know, honestly, everyone is, I refuse to build the same thing twice. So,
Right.
like this next year, we're doing half mile and mile cars. I just like, we did a mid-engine car a couple years ago. We did, I've done motorcycle powered cars. I really want every end of the spectrum. I love the industry. I love going to these schools and working with these kids and making them, we need to save our industry. So getting them kids to really understand why it's special, why it's cool. It doesn't matter if it's fast. You can take a car and personalize it and it's yours. And it's yours. It sets itself apart in creating some individuality. All that stuff is important in our industry, in my opinion. So,
obviously, yeah.
To go back to what we were saying earlier, you said you got to start with a car with no horsepower. The only guy that I can think of that hasn't done that is RJ with Big Red Camaro. His dad built that for him with a whole bunch of horsepower, and he's only increased the horsepower and gotten faster over the years instead of the opposite of what happens with 99% of the guys.
Yeah.
Not saying it can't happen. It depends on what you put yourself in.
Tell us about this mild car you're building.
Yeah, we're doing. I deal with Dave over at Factory 5. I laugh because I don't ever want to do a kit car. I said I'll never do a kit car. We hand build our chassis, we hand build our body. So David's a friend of mine over there, and he was doing some stuff for Joey Logano one time. So I went over, we're talking, and I jumped in Dave's car. We're out cutting donuts in his 65 coupe. Man, the car really was a nice car. I was sort of surprised, to be honest. So we got a little competition going on. I took one of his cars, his 65s. He built one, and we're going to go compete on the road course on the half mile and on the mile and see who can build the baddest car. So I'm doing a little aluminum 427 dart block with twins. And I think we did 1502 on pump gas with 18 pounds of boost going in it. And He's running, because I'm running a Chevy platform, he's going with a Coyote platform.
So is your dart block, is that small block or is that LS?
It's LS.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, it's a big inch LS motor. So a big inch small block, if that makes sense. I had 431 inches, I think.
Will this be part of your show, like a bet, like who can beat each other? That's awesome.
So, and just see who can do. For me, I'll have carbon brakes. I'm going to run carbon fiber wheels on it, and I'm really going. Got really trick suspension coming from KW. I mean, we're going after.
Where are you getting these carbon fiber brakes from?
Oh, dude. I tried to talk to Mike for the longest time, but
really. And what about the carbon fiber wheels? Because I know that Ford has got some OEM wheels for the GT, and during all their auto shows, I would make a suggestion. I want to see one of these wheels. I want to hold it. You need to have one on a display. If it's carbon fiber, it's light, so I want to be able to pick it up.
The problem is the centers are still aluminum. And the barrels are all carbon. So I'll get you a name to the guys. It's probably been 6 or 8 months since we even talked to them, but we're going to run carbon brakes, going to run carbon fiber wheels on the car, and I want the car as light as I can get it and still do everything it's supposed to do.
Yeah, and if you're cutting out all that rotating mass, you're going to stop that much quicker, accelerate that much quicker. That's amazing. That's right. Very cool.
And we're doing and Tramx came on board with the transmission. I was a little worried to run, because I didn't know, but you guys have really been helpful over at Silver Sport Transmission. So we got a Tramx going in it. We're going to run a 6-speed because we're going to have to put it through corners too. The car's going to be a fun car. So I'm excited.
Very cool. So a 10-speed or a 6-speed with 3 pedals. I was just talking to one of the guys at A Kid Sema last year about the dual clutch for the Corvette.
Yeah, I deal with Jeff over there, and the transmission they sent me, I can't wait to play with it. I've been dealing with automatics now for so long. My low horsepower stuff has got standards in it. But to build this in a standard is really fun for me. I'm really excited because, you do road race with it. I need the top end gear if we're going to try to do half mile or mile stuff. So we're going to have some fun with this car. It's going to be fun.
And that's one of my favorite things is at the Tramx booth, they've always got that cutaway of the transmission you could just shift through. And I always tell them I want this for my living room Oh, that's funny. No, I'm serious.
No,
It's a work of art.
watching movies, clicking gears.
That's what I do all the time. Could you leave already? Go back to work, Jeff's like, yeah, thanks. I love it.
No, that's truly a true gearhead right there. So.
It is good fun. Well, where can we see some of your new videos when they come out?
Anything, obviously YouTube, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, all the typical stuff, Twitter, which is Toymakerz with a Z. So it's a Toymakerz, but, and then just
Instagram,
Google
Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. And then of course, anything else if you just Google the name, you get everything out there. So, Real David Ankin, I'm out there. My son, he's 14. He just started a new page called Team Gearhead. So he's having a ball putting his build process on there, which is fun. And then, it's just content. We try to get as much stuff out. This weekend's going to be fun. That blue car, if you haven't checked it out, jump on Instagram and take a look. That car's no joke bad. It's fun car.
So some of the people out there wanted to had a big enough credit card and wanted you to build them a car. How long is the wait time?
It's funny. I almost talk everybody out of it because nobody truly understands. If you can do a one-off body from the ground up from a napkin drawing, it's hard to charge somebody. It's hours and hours and hours and time. So I usually don't. I usually talk them out. Or when I do say yes, it's such a pain in the rear end because they don't really understand. I can sit there and say, okay, it's going to be 150 grand or 200 grand. I'm still losing money because the time, I don't have 20 guys in my shop. I have me and one other guy that does all the designing and fabbing. I got one helper. I got Ashley, and we got my business partner, and we got Billy. I mean, that's really, we have nobody. So it makes it hard, so I try to keep everything geared toward the show or toward events because that takes care of my vendors. And that's really important. I try to hit as many shows as I can. And whether I'm asked to go or don't go, I just like the car show.
So what's the next show that people can see you out and about at?
We're doing Shakedown this weekend at VMP, Virginia Motorsports Park. Some of the baddest cars on the planet going to be there, including us. We're going to go out and, matter of fact, for the longest time, I've been running SS tires from Mickey Thompson, their little street version, and we've been going fast. I'm going to put some drag radios on it this weekend. We're going to try to lean on that car.
Very nice. And Toymakerz.com for your shirts, your merchandise?
That's right. Yeah, Toymakerz.com. And if they show up this weekend, I think we're doing $10 T-shirts for everybody that comes through. So
get out of here.
No, I promise.
That's
better
fantastic.
Better fly out there, Jeff.
Yeah. You got to get one for Blake.
Yeah, I'll pick you up in something cool at the airport.
There you go. Very nice.
All
Thanks so much, Dave.
Right. Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, great meeting everybody, and you catch yourself out my way, stop in and see us.
Definitely or hopefully SEMA next year. Hopefully SEMA next year. We'll see you there.
Thank you, guys. Be safe.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.